This is the Aflac Insurance Inside High School Sports Show, highlighting all of Section 3, interviewing the greatest local coaches and athletes. Brought to you by SummitCars.com, broadcasting in the ESPN studios. Here's your host, Mike Bristol, and Eagle Newspapers' Phil Blackwell.
Billy B, what's up, buddy? What's happening?
Oh, this is historic. This is important. This is, I believe, the very first leap year day edition of the Inside High School Sports Show. Never seen before, perhaps never again will we ever have a program on February 29th. So that alone makes it very important.
I don't know.
Aside from the fact that we also have a lot of championships going on, sectional basketball semifinals, hockey championship games Monday night, state wrestling going on in Albany. That stuff's important too, but leap year day. Anyway.
I don't know. Question. Blake Bristol in studio. What's up, big man? You want to say hello to everybody?
Hi.
Good job. So it's nice having dual co-host Phil Blackwell, and of course Blake Bristol hanging out with us.
Who has about
in
10 times more personality anyway.
Yeah, that's right. Blake's got his Minecraft PJs on this morning here to show all the high school athletes, so nice and cozy.
Perfect for our first group, for some of our groups of guests, because they wear green too. So anyway.
That's right. Yeah, the Mustangs, Marcellus Mustang hoop team coming in here, Blake. Varsity boys. All right, here we go. We've got our Upstate University Hospital Spotlight interview, members of the Marcellus boys basketball team, and this is turning out to be a milestone for Marcellus basketball. Not only are the girls Mustangs in the Section 3 Class B semifinals, but so are the boys Mustangs after a solid 14-6 regular season and playoff wins over Holland Patton and Mount Markham, as Marcellus gets so tonight to challenge defending champion and state number 1 ranked Lowville in the semifinals at SRC Arena. So Mustangs head coach Scott Cotter, 4 of the seniors will be with us. Tristan Jarvie, Jared Salmon, Will Kimber, and Luke Igiani are joining us here in studio.
With Marcellus, it was just a solid season from start to finish. I mean, a team well-balanced on offense, pretty solid on defense, and having a very good season. And I always believe that the win they had over Skinny Atlas late in the regular season was a turning point, because up until that point they were doing pretty well. But here was somebody that beat them earlier in the season. They beat them. And they get the one break in the bracket they needed when VVS, the number 4 seed, was knocked off by Mount Markham. Nonetheless, the Mustangs have made a nice run in the postseason, and now house money tonight against Lowville, a team that everyone figures should handle them, but who knows? Play the whole Rocky Hoosiers underdog thing if you want, and they'll probably play that angle up big time.
No question. We've got our Wegmans winning spotlight interview, members of the Bishop Grimes girls basketball team, and at one point late this season, the Bishop Grimes girls basketball team had lost 7 of 9 games and thought of an postseason success seemed to obviously be distant. But even with the number 13 seed in the sectional Class B playoffs, the Cobras have roared to 3 victories, 2 of them on the road to earn a spot in the semifinals Sunday at OCC against top seed Oneida. Talk about their turnaround. John Cifanelli will be here in studio. 5 of his players, Laura Morell, I think Ronnie Shea, Pal, Jenna Sloan, McKenna Squire, and Alicia Kelly will all be here in studio.
And few teams went through the kind of schedule that Bishop Grimes did this season. It was one of the toughest in Central New York. But there was certainly a point this season where it just didn't seem like it was going to happen. There was real struggles. But Grimes turned it around mainly by focusing on defense. The late season win they got over Westall had to give them some confidence going into the playoffs. Then they've made it, and they've done it the hard way with long wins on road games at Adirondack, at VVS, and they've got no fear coming into this game with Oneida, and they're going to need it against an Indians team that's only lost once this season. It's going to be a tough one, but Grimes has the defense to make it interesting, make it tough for anyone else.
Well, now we've also got our SummitCars.com spotlight interview, members of the Bishop London boys basketball team. Again, 3 sets of studio guests. Great job, Phil. With all of its winning tradition, the Bishop London boys basketball team expects to still be playing into March early, or obviously each winter. And the Gaelic Knights do so again, sitting at 18-3 overall after it edged Nottingham in the sectional Class AA quarterfinals, lined up to try to avenge December 28th defeat to Corcoran in tomorrow's semifinal SRC Arena. Head coach Gallagher Driscoll and Michael Kager, Monte Johnson, and John DeMonte will all be here in studio as well for the Bishop London boys basketball team.
London has been a pretty consistent team all season. 3 of their games, 3 losses, one was to Corcoran. Admittedly, 2 of them were Holy Roll rivals, CBA, and that probably sticks in the craw a little bit. But otherwise, a consistent team with explosive capability with players like Johnson and Kegler. Both can put up 25 almost every game out, but they have enough depth and they have enough toughness to, deal with all the AA teams, and they've beaten AA teams this season from start to finish. They beat the likes of Liverpool and Nottingham, and, Corcoran's the type of game, it's going to be a really good one because the first time they played, Corcoran beat them without a huge game from DeJour Reeves, their real superstar. You have to figure that he might need some more production the second time around, but Ludden can beat them.
We now hit the pivotal rounds of Section 3 boys basketball playoffs here, holding the top seed in Class AA, defending state champion West Genesee eyed a possible semifinal against J.J. Starling in Baldwinsville. The last team to beat the Wildcats in early January, while number 2 seed Corcoran avoided a troublesome game with Liverpool, who beat them twice this season when Utica Proctor knocked off the Warriors. In Class A, 20-0 Whitesboro got challenged Bishop Grimes. We'll talk about that, part of the quarterfinal. We'll talk about JD against Fulton, number 3 CDSM again against Spartans for New Hartford and CBA, which we'll talk about that. You saw the highlights. And number 4 seed hosting Central Square, leading the semifinals. That was, again, last night at SRC Arena. Phil, let's first start out with double A's. Let's talk about West Jenny.
Well, they got beat. That was the biggest story of what happened on Tuesday night in the quarterfinals. The reigning state champions were taken out by Rome Free Academy, 70-56, and it was no fluke. RFA outplayed them, out-toughed them. When Jenny made a challenge in the fourth quarter, RFA answered, got great performances from Call, from Bartholomew, from Fecco. It was a fantastic performance for an RFA team that had dealt with injuries all season and had only won 9 regular season games. But then they beat Henniger in the first round, go to Jenny and beat them convincingly, and now they get the semifinal against Baldwinsville, a team they beat in January on a last-second shot. The Bees handled Auburn in their quarterfinal, and we'll talk about the Corcoran-Ludden game later when we talk to the Ludden players, but the big story is that RFA is still there, and I can tell you, they can beat anyone that's left if they play like they did on Tuesday.
Class A, as I mentioned, 20-0 in Whitesboro. Let's talk about Whitesboro, Grimes. We saw those highlights, JD, CBA. Let's talk about the square, all these teams, New Hartford.
Well, that was another number 1 seed that went out. Whitesboro stunned by Grimes 49-48 in the quarterfinals on Tuesday. I can't remember the AA and A top seeds going out in the quarterfinal round in the same year, but it happened. Yet, Grimes couldn't carry that over into the semifinals as CBA, with a 14-0 run in the fourth quarter, ultimately pulled away to beat them 70-47. CBA has now won 11 in a row, and they'll face a JD team that has won 13 in a row. The Red Rams outlasted ESM yesterday, 57-40, I think it was 57-47. Got great performances from the Shumpert brothers and Matt Zaplicki with some key second-half points. So it's JD and CBA. They played in the first week of December at SRC Arena. It was on December 7th, and JD won that game rather handily. And remember, CBA started 1-4. Now on March 7th, they're going to meet again for the sectional championship, and CBA is a whole lot better than they were then. It's going to be quite a game next Saturday night.
Nothing that happened in the early rounds of the boys basketball sectional Class B playoffs discouraged the notion that state number 1 ranked Lowville will be tough to dethrone. The Red Raiders bashed Camden and away to Cazenovia, while number 2 seed Salve nearly got upended by Oneida and would get a quarterfinal against Skaneateles team that had Nate Fouts scored 36 points against Jordan Elbridge. Let's talk about those, Phil, then I want to get into VVS and Mount Markham.
Well, what happened here was that Mount Markham knocked off VVS, the 13 being a 4. That was the biggest surprise of the round of 16. But after that, the home teams won in each of the quarterfinal games. Lowville, a big second quarter, they got rid of Cazenovia 70-47. Now they're in the semis against Marcellus, whom we'll talk to later in the program. The Mustangs having outlasted Mount Markham in a Mustang battle in the quarterfinals. Then the other semifinal will pit Salve against General Brown. After Salve was a bit rusty and was really had to work to beat Oneida in the first round, they were impressive against Skaneateles 65-45. And now they get a General Brown team that had to work to get past Central Valley 56-52. But remember, the Lions made the sectional finals a year ago, so don't underestimate them, even with all the momentum that Salve's carried by winning something like 12 out of their last 13 games.
Wow. Weedsport, the top seed in Class C boys basketball sectional bracket, would avoid a team that beat them, Cato Meridian. When Utica Academy of Science beat the Blue Devils. Also, defending state champion Cooperstown would look to avenge a January defeat to Herkimer. Onondaga squared off with the Frankfurt Schuyler. West Canada met up with Beaver River. Then there was, of course, Class D. DeRuyter, now 21-0, but up against a past state champion Oriskany in the quarterfinals. as defending champion number 2 seed Lyme would face McGraw. Brookfield's upset number 4 seed Hamilton set up the Beavers against Copenhagen, and number 3 seed Old Forge would get a big challenge from Faith Heritage. A lot of Class C and D action as well.
Well, in Class C, the top 4 seeds all made it through. Weedsport beat UIS 70-57, keeping their hot streak going, and they're now 20-2 going into the semifinals against an Onondaga team they beat late in January. But the Tigers knocked off Frankfurt Schuyler to get a second chance at Weedsport later this afternoon up at SRC Arena. On the other side, Cooperstown got that revenge against Herkimer 63-56. Now they'll place West Canada, who knocked off Beaver River. In the D's, now let's remember something. The big snow they had up north kept Lyme and Old Forge from playing each other today. They're going to play Monday night at Carthage to determine who goes to the sectional final after Lyme beat McGraw and Old Forge beat Faith Heritage in overtime. On the other side, DeRuyter was very impressive against Oriskany to move to 22-0. Now they'll face Brookfield, the unlikely team that's knocked off 4-seed Hamilton and 5-seed Copenhagen to be the highest remaining seed of all the classes. A 13 seed is trying to knock off the 22-0 Rockets. It's going to be interesting to see if Brookfield can hang with them later this afternoon in OCC.
Yeah, I got you. Phil Blackwell, listen. We got our summercars.com spotlight interview coming up. Bishop London boys basketball team kicking things off here on the Aflac Inside High School Sports Show and presented by summitcars.com.
This is the Aflac Insurance Inside High School Sports Show, brought to you by summitcars.com.
All right, here we are back on the program. Mike Bristol joining alongside with the great Phil Blackwell and Blakey doing his thing underneath the studio. We've got our summitcars.com spotlight interview, members of the Bishop London boys basketball team. Guys in studio. Coach, what's going on? How are you?
Thanks for having us, Mike and Phil.
It's great to have you here in studio, which is always nice. Let's talk a little bit about the team at this point. Outstanding season. Talk about the success.
Well, I give this credit. We've got great leadership. We have 3 seniors sitting here, and we have another one that's not able to join us this morning. But these guys have been terrific. They've bought in to what we've been trying to do all year. They've become great teammates. So this is how we've been successful.
Talk about, when you look at the season and where you guys are at, 18 or 19-3 right now, 18-3 overall. You start looking at all those wins and piling up all those wins, a couple of close games, but for the most part, just an outstanding season overall. When you look at the team right now, some things that need to work on, is there anything that you're feeling, hey, still need to get this, or we still need to focus here? Anything like that?
I think we can always say that every day. Like we need to get better with late game situations. We need to close out possessions, but we've been in so many situations late in the games this year that if you look at our guys, they all play with a poker face out there, so you can't really tell if we're down 6 or up 6 with 2 minutes ago. And they've done a good job, but we always can get better. I can get better as a coach, and our guys can get better as players, So, yeah, there's always room to get better.
My buddy Pat Mooney just said my alma mater's in studio, so he wanted to give you guys a shout-out.
One of our best alumni.
Pat, really?
Yes, he was.
I watched Pat play, and he's got some significant lead legs, but he understands the game.
He knows how to play.
He might be a little slower in his elder days, but definitely understands the game.
Yeah.
Him and I always like to rip on Eddie Leone as well.
We don't mention any purple and gold in this segment. Yeah. Come on now. I'm just kidding.
This is an all green segment.
Thank you.
Pat's a great guy too, so it makes up for his. In fact, he's always rebound outletting the ball. He's one of the few guys, a very selfless player.
That's what he learned at Ludden.
That's right. Yeah. All right, let's talk about who's in studio. Michael Kegler, where are you? What's going on? How are you, pal? What's going on?
I'm doing good.
Good to have you in studio.
Nice to be here.
Good to have you. Monte Johnson, what's up, Monty?
What's up,
Good
Phil?
to have you in studio. How are you?
I'm good, Phil.
Good to have you. And John DeMonte, what's up, John?
Nothing much. How are you?
Good. Good to have you. I like the cross around your neck with the gold. It looks good. John, talk about the team so far. From a defense standpoint, where's your team really excelled in terms of containing most of the opposition we've seen here all year?
I mean, we help, like, when someone gets by us, we help on defense. And, like, we rotate really well. And, like, we just play really hard on the defensive end and just trying to get stops.
Very good. Monte, let's go to you here for a second. The ball's in your hands a lot. Talk about the key of dictating the game's pace, knowing when to go quicker, slowing things down, working with your coach, kind of being the extension of your coach. Talk about that.
I mean, knowing when to slow it down and speed up is really just like instinct. and I listen to what coach says, process it, and get it to the guys on the team.
Good. Mr. Kegler, let's bounce you here for a second. When you look at this team overall, what have you been most impressed with?
Most impressed with defense, how we all communicate well. We have a couple of breakdowns, but at the end of the defensive end, we always come back together.
Yeah, that's good. Coach, you guys started 6-0. How important was it that those wins included wins over, let's say, like RFA, Liverpool, some big teams?
They were really good wins. I look back to our first scrimmage of the year. It was against Baldwinsville, and we went out to Baldwinsville, and we got drilled. And I didn't realize how good we were going to be. I didn't really have a good feel. But we went up to Liverpool, the first game up at OCC, and we were able to get that win. And then you got a team, you get a chance to play Rome, and we were able to compete with them and get the win against them. So I think our guys gained confidence. They said, hey, we got a chance of being pretty good. And, I give our guys all the credit. They deserve this, like I said all year. I'll take responsibility for the losses. They can get all the credit for the wins.
Every great coach, that's good. We've got our summitcars.com spotlight interview, Bishop Ludden boys basketball team. Coach, you look at the Nottingham game, very tense. Grant Baker won with a late three-pointer down the stretch. Talk about what's the key to maintaining poise.
Well, I think we've been in these games all year, whether it's up 6, down 6, up 2, up 3, up 5. Like I said, these guys, having those 3 seniors out there, they're comfortable, and I think the guys feed off that, and, it was funny, Grant had gotten taken out for dropping a pass and getting a backcourt turnover, and I took him out, told him to settle down, and, we put him back in the game, and these guys made a great kick out to him to nail the 3, so he was ready to come back in. It was a huge play for us.
Corcoran, John, let's go to you for a second. Corcoran beat you in the holiday tournament, even though you contained Reeves. Talk about that team all, as a whole and how good they are, but we can also obviously talk about you guys.
Well, they do a really good job at running out. Even if they give up a basket, they just throw it and they can get it down in transition and score really well. And against us, we didn't get back on defense, so we give up a few and ones and just easy layups to them where we shouldn't have given up.
That's good. Good job. Mr. Kegler, bounce to you here for a second. Who's the team you love playing against? Who do you always want to go up against?
Even though we lost to them twice this year, it's always a good environment playing CBA.
Yeah.
It's a good game.
Yeah, very good. And Monty, how about you? Who do you like going up against?
I like going up against any good competition. Really. Anybody.
He wants to go up against anybody. Coach, though he's retired a couple years ago, Pat Donnelly still drop in and out and offer some of his words of wisdom.
Yeah, I think Coach is always there for us after every game, win or lose. I always get a text from him. He cast a big shadow, and
well, he thinks he does. I don't think. I mean,
but he's in Florida now while we're up here freezing.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's always been really good. He's a good guy to bounce things off. But after any win or loss, he's always there to say something positive.
So at this point, what are you telling the kids? What are you telling the boys here? What happens next?
Well, I mean, we'll practice today, and we're not going to reinvent the wheel. We're not going to practice 2.5 hours. We're not going to put in anything that we don't do. We just got to go out, play, compete. Be great teammates, share the ball, be willing passers, just keep doing what we've been doing to get 18 wins so far. That's very simple.
And you've been a long traditional guy with Bishop Ludden as well. Talk a little bit about that, your history at Ludden.
I was very, very lucky to play for Coach Wilcox. My
Jerry
sophomore,
the man.
Yes, my sophomore and junior year. We were able to go to the state championship in my junior year. We got beat to Shenandoah, who had Greg Kuhlbeck, who went on to Duke. And then my senior year, I had a chance to play for Pat Donnelly, and he came in and did a great job. And so Bishop Ludden's very special to me. We always tell the guys that being part of our program is a privilege. It's not a right. And I think all these guys been around success, guys that came before them. We have a lot of former players drop in and say hello, and make sure they all know they're rooting for us. So it's been great.
Very good. Phil Blackwell, Eagle Newspapers. Go ahead, Phil.
Wanted to mention this to Mike Hill and Monty. How good is it to have players like Jaron and Kinsey, guys like that, who can produce themselves? It's not like they're depending every night on you guys to put up 20 to 25 every night. Michael can take that one.
Extremely well. Like I like how they play defense. They dogs. They go out there and play hard. So it's good to have them on defense, and they take some of the stress away sometimes when defense like come up on us and they come down with chippy plays, and it's good to have them.
What do you think about that too, Monty? Because teams are keying on you, so they've got to produce as well, don't they?
They can't just key in on me. We're a whole team. Any one of us can score at any moment.
Anybody can light it up.
And that's pretty true of a lot of the teams, all the teams that are left. I mean, you can't. I mean, this is not. I had to say it's not like with Corcoran, because they sometimes can be too much of the Reeves show, or Baldwin's can be too much of the Starling show. You guys don't really have that problem. I mean, you have guys who get hot hands, but it seems like, John, I'll ask you this. I mean, you seem to find different guys every night, don't you?
Yeah, whoever is doing well, like the beginning of the game, we just try and keep giving them shots, and just if they're on fire, then just keep giving them the ball.
Very nice. Let's do some shout-outs. John, why don't you kick things off? Who do you want to give a shout-out to?
Just shout out to Evan. He plays with us, and he couldn't play sectionals with us this year because he had to get major back surgery, and he's in the hospital right now.
Oh, boy, okay. Mr. Johnson, how about you? Shout-out. Who do we give a shout-out to?
Shout out my boy Kel, my boy John, Jared, and the rest of the team.
All right. Cal, who do we give a shout-out to?
I'm just saying, shout out to my boy Mont, John, the team.
All right. Coach?
I like to shout out to my rest of the guys that have had a huge role. All 14 guys in our team this year had a huge role for us. Whether it shows up in a box score or not, they've been terrific, and I got the best staff around. So there's my shout-out.
Very nice. All right, we'll be right back. ESPN Radio 97.7, 100.1.
This is the Aflac Insurance Inside High School Sports Show, brought to you by SummitCars.com.
All right, here we are back in studio. Mike Bristol, the great Phil Blackwell, and we're talking our Wegmans Winning Spotlight interview with Bishop Grimes girls basketball team. Coach, what's going on? How are you? Coach Stefanelli?
We're doing great. We're happy to still be playing, and we're thrilled to be here today.
Great to have you in studio. So talk a little bit about, I guess, the last, 3 games here, kind of a turnaround for you, which is great.
Yeah, I thought we've played pretty well all year. We played a very difficult schedule, and we kind of had some ups and downs like you're going to have over the course of a long season. But the girls have been locked in all year, and we kind of felt that putting them through this difficult schedule, they got to see all sorts of different looks. We saw quick teams, we saw big teams, and they really plugged away through it all and continued to improve. So we felt like we were going to be in a good position to be able to make a run in the postseason.
Talk about the 13 seed. Is that a good place to be?
That's a great place right now. In a 23-team tournament, it's kind of interesting because I don't really think it's the seeding that matters as much as the matchups.
Well, you probably
themselves.
also don't feel like you're in the middle here either. But
no, we did not go into this feeling like we were the 13th best team because of what we saw all year.
Right. All right, let's talk a little bit about who you brought in studio. Laura Morrell. What's up, Laura? Where are you?
Hello.
Say hello to everybody.
Hi.
Great to have you in studio. Ronnie Shea. Pal, what's up, Ronnie Shea?
Nothing much.
So
Going
who you
good?
named after? Let me hear this one with the Ronnie Shea. There's got to be some good story behind this.
Yeah, so my mom is named after her dad.
Okay.
So I'm named after my dad, which is Ron. And then they just put in Shay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right, very nice. Jenna Sloan. What's up, Jenna Sloan?
Nothing.
Is there, get close to the microphone, is there anything with your name?
No.
Squire. What's up, McKenna Squire?
Nothing.
Good to have you in studio. And Alicia Kelly. Alicia,
Hi.
what's up?
Not much.
How are you?
I'm good.
All right, very nice. Coach, let's talk about after February 14th loss to SAS. What was said, what was done in order to begin kind of the turnaround, and obviously that big win with West Hill 3 days later?
I think we all had a little mental reboot, and and the other thing too, like I said earlier, we've been working all year to put ourselves into a good position to have some success in the postseason, and I think once the girls got a sniff of hey, this is right around the corner, I found their second legs, and our energy level stayed high, and the ball goes in the basket a few times, and all of a sudden your confidence changes again a little bit, and I don't think it was anything major that happened other than they kind of saw that, all right, it's time to really turn it on now.
Gotcha. We've got our Wegmans winning spotlight interview, members of the Bishop Grime girls basketball team, Coach John Cifanelli in studio. Talk a little bit about the playoff run, your defense. Obviously, teams like Adirondack, VVS, some other teams having trouble against that swarming D. Talk about your defense.
Well, our biggest weapon so far has been the fact that we've played teams who haven't seen us yet. And, these girls have dedicated themselves to being a great team, but in particular defensively, they are fierce, they are intense, they contest everything you do. And I think, you can watch us on film, and I had a couple of coaches tell me this. You can watch us on film, but until you actually play against us on the court, you're really not quite, you don't quite understand how quick everything really
Traps and a lot of that kind of stuff going on, or what is it?
Yeah, and a lot of it, honestly, we're to a point now where a lot of it, I don't really call much defensively. We go in with a defensive game plan, and they have a feel for
know what you're doing,
for when to jump and when to trap and when to sit back and when to fly in passing lanes, and it's really disruptive.
Nice. Laura, let's talk to you here for a second. You got the ability to get red hot, light things up a bit. Talk about having the green light and scoring.
We just try to get ball movement in so that I'm ready to shoot.
So you said, move the ball, give it to me, set me up, and let me light things up.
Mm-hmm.
From anywhere. From anywhere. And we give her the green light.
Yeah, we saw that. Range from wherever it is. Jen, let's bounce to you for a second. You're a sophomore, fourth year on varsity. Talk about that.
I don't know. Being like one of the youngest on the team all the time, it sometimes can be hard, but all my upperclassmen teammates know how to pick me up and make me feel like it's okay if I make a mistake and that everything's going to be fine.
Nice. That's very nice. McKenna, for those who might not know your story, what's your success? A very unique player. Talk a little bit about how great you've become here.
It's really because of like my teammates and coaches around me that when I get down on myself, they kind of tell me like, forget about it, the next play.
Can't get down on yourself. Come on.
I know.
Never.
Just stuff like that, like always trying to get me to keep going.
Yeah, I know you're doing great. Great job. I like your earrings. Good work.
Thank you.
Alicia, let's bounce to you here for a second. Talk about, well, this will be for you and Ronnie, but let's talk to you for first and last, Ronnie. Ronnie Shea.
Nice catch. Nice catch.
During practices, let's talk about how much time that you guys, Coach just said you kind of know what to do defensively. Are you really practicing a lot of the defensive stuff or what?
Well, we practice defense and offense kind of an equal amount, but we really focus on defense a lot, trying to we are a small team, so defense is really important to us to win games. So we just try our best to execute every single game and practice it as well as we're going to play in game and practice.
Nice. Ronnie Shea, how about you? You like playing defense?
Yeah, I think most of our offense actually comes from our defense because getting rebounds is big for us when we can, and then we just push the ball up the court.
And make things happen.
Oh, yeah.
Coach, talk about run and gun.
But it's interesting. I mean, we don't I think one of the things that, and I guess if you want to talk about why we've become so successful here in the postseason, one of the things they have figured out now is that we need to push the tempo all game, and we do need to push the ball up the court. But, pushing the ball up the court doesn't mean we have to take that shot within 5 seconds, 6 seconds, 7 seconds. If it's there, we take it.
Nobody likes to be pressured. I don't care if it's D1 basketball, if it's any basketball. No one likes to be pressured. Point guard bringing the ball up, traps, all that kind of stuff. No one likes it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If someone's incredible, you can break it, you get some easy buckets. But, if that pressure's good.
Well, in reality,
you're controlling the whole tempo.
Better when you're open.
Yeah,
and Laura's a great example because
you're more relaxed.
We're starting to see some teams who realize, well, all right, we're not going to let this kid take open shots. So Laura's finding some shots in transition that might not be there if we walk it up the court and let teams match up to us.
Yeah. I mean, you haven't seen any. You've seen like some box and one, some old school stuff. Have you seen any of that kind of stuff?
Really, I don't think we're the kind of team where we handle the ball really well and we pass the ball so well that I think those junk defenses aren't
going to work.
Yeah.
Oneida has a pair of stars. Ala Rainbow, Sydney Lusher. Let's talk about containing both of them.
We
who else am I missing? Somebody? Curl.
Yeah. Kaylin Curl also.
Okay.
They've like us. They've got 3 guards who do a lot of the scoring for them. It's going to be another challenge for us, and we realize we're not going to. Our goal isn't to hold teams to 20, 25 points. I mean, we're on a nice run. Yeah, we are on a nice run right now, but that's not really the goal. The goal is just to take teams out of rhythm best as we can.
Yeah.
You take teams out of rhythm. You might be able to force some bad shots, get some turnovers, things where you can create some offense off of it. So, our big thing really, they shoot the three-pointer really well. Our big thing is to be able to continue our pressure defense, but yet still be able to get out to the three-point shooters. And, I think if you look at the game on paper, obviously, I mean, they're 21-1. They're the 1 seed. We have a lot of respect for them and everything they do. We know this is going to be one of our biggest challenges of the season for sure. But I feel, and I know the girls now are to the point where they feel that our defense can be a huge X factor in this game because you can't really simulate it in practice.
Oh, yeah. 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 It's like the 2-3 zone. Everybody always talks about that.
Yeah.
Phil, what do you got? Phil Blackwell, Eagle Newspapers.
So I think the biggest thing is how important, I asked Laura or Jenna this question, how important is it tomorrow to get some shots to fall early in the game to maybe plant some seeds of doubt into a United team, because that can be a demoralizing thing if you can hit some early shots. How important is that?
It's very important because they'll have to adjust to their defensive plan, and we've definitely got to make them change it.
If we knock down some outside shots early on, they'll have to come out more, which will leave the driving lanes open for us, so we can either score or dish off of the drive.
All right, John, give me kind of a postseason analysis here, where you girls are at, or where you guys are at.
We're in a great place mentally. I think we're probably physically, knock on wood, but I think we're probably in as good a shape physically as we could be at this point, especially given the challenges we've had all year. We're the 13th seed and we're playing this weekend. Mm-hmm. So
13, that should be maybe the 6th.
Yeah. I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
So we're in a great frame of mind. We're thrilled to be playing at OCC. I know we talked the beginning of the year. We came off a 7-12 season last year, and we had talked this year about being better in a lot of different phases. And we wanted to be playing at OCC and winning at OCC. So I think mentally we're in the frame of mind where we think we can do some damage, hopefully, in the tournament.
All right, Alicia, let's do some shout-outs. Why don't you start out? Give us a shout-out. Who do you want to give a shout-out to? Teammates, family, what do you want to do?
I'll give a shout-out to my dad and my mom. Those are really my two closest people to me. They've helped me so much in my basketball career, and shout-outs to the rest of my team. I love them.
Good job. That's good. McKenna, how about you?
I'll give a shout-out to my parents and my sister, and also, Brianna, and my teammates.
Very nice. Jenna Sloan.
I'll give a shout out to my parents and my brother and sister for always picking me up when I have a bad game and always telling me what I can do better, and my coaches and teammates.
Good job. Ronnie Shea.
I'll give a shout out to my mom, dad, and brother for being my biggest support system, and the rest of my team.
All right. Laura, how about you?
I'll give a shout out to my coaches, my family, and my teammates.
John, how about you?
Well, what they said is great, and I'm going to give a shout out to all 11 of our players and all of our parents and families, because this year has really been a treat for me. That everybody has been so supportive. It's such a family atmosphere. It's great. And also to my wife, who somehow, some way, for year number 21, puts up with me through basketball season. God bless her.
Mrs. Cifanelli. All right, you guys. Thanks for coming in the studio. Big round of applause. Wegmans winning Spotlight interview. Members of the Bishop Grime girls basketball team. Good luck and keep it rolling. We get back. We've got our Upstate University Hospital interview with members of the Marcel's boys basketball team. This is the Aflac Inside High School Sports Show presented by SummitCars.com, ESPN Radio 97.7 and 100.1.
This is the Aflac Insurance Inside High School Sports Show, brought to you by SummitCars.com.
All right, here we are back in studio. Mike Bristol and the great Phil Blackwell. We've got our Upstate Hospital interview, members of the Marcel's boys basketball team in studio. Scott Cotter, what's happening, Coach? What's going on?
Not much. Ready for tonight.
All right, so let's talk about tonight. So kind of give me the game plan, give me the idea. What have you been telling the boys?
Yeah, just play with confidence, like they have all year. Come out, give it our best shot. Another opportunity to step on the floor with each other. And we've been talking about relationships all year and what high school sports mean. And got an opportunity tonight to continue our season. That's what we're looking forward to.
It's great. 14-6 right now. Is that the rate?
Yeah, 16-6.
16-6.
Yep.
Phil, that's a huge typo. 16-6. Good work. All right, Tristan Jarvie, say hello to everybody. What's up, Jarv?
I'm doing good. How are we doing?
Good to have you in studio. Jared Salmon. What's up, Jared?
What's going on?
Jared, so who's your dad? I know a couple. I know Mike Salmon. He's a great guy. Is that your uncle?
Mike is my uncle.
All right. So who's your dad?
John Salmon.
John.
Yeah.
Okay. So Mike would come down and run a little bit. He's a good guy. Will Kimber. What's up, Will?
Hello. How are you?
What's happening?
Not much. How about you?
Will, what are you going to be? Like something in biology? You're very serious right now. What are you going to study?
Well, I'm thinking maybe political science or economics.
Right.
Yeah.
I got you pegged right now. Luke, what's going on?
Nothing much. Getting ready for the game tonight.
Yeah, so tell me about the game tonight.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
You know, we're kind of the underdogs, but we've been the underdogs all year.
What's Coach been telling you guys?
Just go out and play hard, and we got to basically just stay in front of them on defense and just do our best.
Very good. Coach, whatever happens against Lowville, talk about the season in general. This has got to be a great season for you guys, 16-6.
Yeah, it's been a great year. First time getting back to the sectional finals since I was a senior, I think 11 years ago now. And these 4 seniors, they've worked really hard. It's my 5th year with the program, and these guys have been there. Luke's been up with us for a little bit longer than these guys, but they've been grinding, they've been battling, really built a great foundation for our younger guys. And their hard work has shown off this year and gotten us to 16-6 with some great wins.
What are you doing to build up Marcellus basketball and keep the success rolling?
We've got our youth program's pretty good. Luckily, it doesn't require much time on my behalf. We got a lot of parent volunteers to help these guys out, give them opportunities to get in the gym. A lot of travel stuff for the younger guys. We get together over the summers and stuff like that, work on an individual skill, and then our summer league stuff. And just like I said before, we preach relationships and communication and things like that, and things that, transfer outside of basketball and that are going to make them successful down the road, and that's the big thing.
The team, there's not necessarily one go-to guy. It's well-balanced. Talk a little bit about that, kind of sharing the ball and moving things around.
Yeah, sharing the ball is big. We preach it every day. Some days we're better than others, but it's definitely something that we preach. And it's kind of nice not knowing who's going to have the big night. They're all ready for it. It's just a matter of, we talked early in the season, who's going to eat. We got to be proud of them when they do.
That's great. Tristan, talk a little bit about when the team has lost, obviously some low scores. Talk a little bit about that, kind of like, finding the basket and trying to create some offense.
Just the games we obviously lost just wasn't our night. We just weren't doing the right things, such as boxing out. Shots weren't falling and just got to our head. And if we did somehow play like teams that we lost to, such as Ludden, Oneida, CBA, if we actually ran our plays right and just played as a team, we definitely would be a lot more successful.
Yep. Luke, let's talk about, I guess, while many wins were good ones, how particularly satisfying was that beat against the Skinny Alice after a soccer and then beating, you're back in December, right? I think it was in December. Talk a little bit about that, kind of avenging that.
Oh, it definitely felt great, especially...
of course it did, because you got Marcel's pride.
Yeah. Right after the loss on our senior night, being able to beat them, especially at their home court, definitely felt great.
Yeah. Jared, talk a little bit about, I guess, how pumped you were to get another playoff home game after number 4-seed VVS was taken out by Mount Marco.
Oh, it was really special because we have a lot of family in Marcellus and younger siblings on different teams, so it was really special for them to
community
come
comes out.
Yeah, it's really helpful when they come out and support us during the games.
That's great. And Coach, talk a little bit about, I guess, in part of the season, you can do well in close games that were mere fact that anyone on the floor can take the crucial shot when it's needed. And I know you're talking about sharing the ball, but is there, I guess if you're down by 2, are you looking at obviously the hot guy, or are you kind of like this, I'd rather have so-and-so take that shot?
Yeah, no, we're looking at matchups. Where do we have the best opportunity to be successful? Yeah. That's kind of what we've been talking about all year. Find the guy on the floor that has the best, matchup for us to be successful. And these guys have done a great job, of understanding that. Our guards have done a good job of, getting touches inside when we needed to, or getting to the rim, going strong, getting to the free throw line. And, they understand, what we're trying to do.
Very nice. Luke, let's go to you here for a second again. Let's talk about Lowville. What do you guys know about Lowville?
They're obviously a really good team.
Yep.
They've played together like basically their whole lives, and obviously they're number 1 in the section right now. So, we're ready to get out there and play.
Well, give me a scouting report too. What do you got on Lowville?
I mean, they got a couple kids who can shoot. They've got a lot of legitimate players, and they play well as a team. But I generally think that our entire team, as soon as we go on the court, we can play anyone we go up against. So,
tell me about the plan of attack against Lowville. What would you do?
Plan of attack, just run our plays well, keep in front of them defensively, rebound the ball, everyone get to the glass. And I think as long as we do those things, we'll be fine.
All right. Coach, talk to me about Marcellus basketball and continuing these playoff runs and keeping things rolling here. Yeah, girls team, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a great year for both basketball programs. These guys have had some sectional experience, as underclassmen and things like that. And by the time you get to be seniors, that definitely helps. It helps having a couple home games and making a little run. And again, like they said, our community's great. The fans are great. The students are great. Very supportive. On Tuesday, it was probably the most people I've seen in that gym for a boys and girls game.
That's awesome.
Since in the last 20 years, it was loud. The crowd was great, and definitely played a factor in both games. Being close down to the wire. So it was a great showing. From our community, and these guys stepped up in the big moment and did what we needed to do, and a little closer than what we wanted, but a win's a win. We got to get to 1-0 at the end of the night.
No question about it.
Right.
We've got our Upstate University Hospital Spotlight interview members of the Marcellus boys basketball team. Phil, you got a question here?
I would say that there's almost no pressure tonight in some ways because Lavo's number one in the state. They're trying to defend the sectional title. They're going to have. In some ways, does that make it easier for you guys in some ways? Because there's maybe not the expectations that maybe other teams might have going into a game like this?
Yeah, it's, with them being number one in the state, again, in order to be the best, you got to beat the best. And that's kind of the way that we look at it. And, we're always looking to challenge ourselves and, we want to play the best teams. We feel confident, if we take care of the ball, we get to the glass and do what we need to do, we can play with anybody. Unfortunately, it's just a matter of execution at this point, and we're prepared and we're ready to go. And it looks like the weather's cleared up enough, so they're going to be able to get down here. We'll give it our best shot tonight.
Yeah, you almost had the snowstorm become a thing. Right? So, maybe that would stop them. But anyway,
that's right. We're ready. We're happy. We're glad to play. I know they haven't had school for a couple days, but I'm sure they're in a gym somewhere getting their shots up and running through their stuff. Especially this time of year. You got to do what you can and be successful, and we're ready to go tonight.
The Mighty Mustangs. I love it here in studio. Great job, boys. Tristan, give a shout out. Who do you want to give a shout out to?
I'll give a shout out to all the other members in the basketball team. Hope you guys are listening right now, and hopefully you guys are ready for tonight. All right, bring it. Let enthusiasm and energy. We need it.
Sam and Jared. Sam.
I would like to give a shout out to my family and the other boys on the team, especially Ryan Salmon, Matt Kershaw.
And Ryan, is that your bro or cousin or what?
Ryan's my cousin.
So who's?
Mike Shaman's.
Oh, good job. Nice. All right. Will, how about you?
I'd like to give a shout out to my mom and my dad, who are hopefully listening, and also to everyone else on the team who didn't have a chance to come here to speak, but they're still felt today in this room.
Good job. Luke.
Obviously, all the boys on the team, Rye Guy, Matt, Lil Pat, Joe, all of them.
A little bad.
And definitely my family. And all the students that are going to be at the game tonight.
Heck yeah, whole crew. Coach, who do you give a shout out to?
I'll give a shout out to the Marcellus community. Big day today and tomorrow for both boys and girls basketball. Hope we see you up at OCC tonight at 8:15. But my family, my fiance.
Gotta
do that, I guess.
Phil got married a couple years ago, ladies and gentlemen. How about a round of applause for Phil getting married? And a round of applause for Scott getting engaged. On double. Come on. There we go. Another one. Good job. All right, we'll be right back. ESPN Radio 97.7 100.1. 97.7 100.1. 97.7 100.1. 97.7 100.1. 97.7 100.1.